Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this session on how to attract and hire top-tier pre-sales talent. I am super excited to be joined by some of the top hiring managers, at least on planet Earth, maybe on Mars. We'll see if we can bridge that gap. I think Elon is working on that. We're going to give it probably a minute or two for folks to trickle in. It usually takes a couple people, or a couple minutes rather, for people to trickle in. A couple housekeeping things, just real quick. We love to make these super conversational and engaging. So for the folks out there who are signing on, you'll see there are a couple things here at the bottom of the screen. The first one is a Q&A button. So go ahead and click on that Q&A button and submit your question. And we just want to make sure that we get to it towards the end of this session. And that's a really nice way for us to do that and it not get lost in chat. Also, of course, we are going to have some polls. So keep an eye out for the polls. You'll see about 2 polls coming up. And that's just for us to kind of get a sense for who's logging on, and then, how are we doing? And then lastly, of course, we do have the chat. So that is a great way to just converse and stuff like that. So while we're waiting another minute, if folks want to tell us where you're tuning in from, okay, we got that covered. Thank you so much. And then, of course, shout out to Alex, who is behind the scenes here helping out manage this whole event. So we'll give it another quick second. Of course, shout out to the PreSales Collective, our partner. We've been partnered with PreSales or the PreSales Collective for, almost a year now, and we really love those folks. So just wanted to acknowledge them. And I know the PreSales career path is really exploding. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. As I mentioned, you are here for this fantastic panel on how to attract and hire top-tier pre-sales talent. And we're going to just go around the horn real quick and just make a quick intro. Tom, why don't you kick us off?
Hi, Tom Banton. I run solutions engineering here at Eightfold. I'm based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Our company is based in San Jose.
Awesome, Tom. I'm actually in Surfside, so I'm not too far from you down here in Miami. So thanks so much for joining us and, of course, taking the time. Stephanie Daniel, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm Stephanie Daniel. I work at DocuSign and going on close to 8 years here. I run our commercial pre-sales team and located here in the Bay Area.
Thank you so much. Luis, how are you? Thanks so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, good evening to one in Europe, like myself, speaking to all of you from Madrid. Good morning to the ones in US or other places. Good evening in the world. Luis, leading the Global Solution Engineering Center of Excellence at Celonis that is based in Madrid and in Raleigh. Great to be here with all of you.
Awesome. Thank you, Luis. And so the one thing, I actually have something in common with all of y'all. So Tom and I live in the same area-ish, basically. Stephanie, I've lived in the Bay Area, spent most of my 30s there. So about, 70 years or so, the last stint. And Luis, I have a ton of family in Madrid. My mother's family is in Madrid and in Valencia. So yeah. And then my name is George or Jorge Soto. I get both. Named after George Harrison. If you've been on these, you've probably heard the story. I head up content and community here at Reprise. So I'm in charge of doing a lot of these sort of speaking engagements and create content on social, etc. I'm really excited to dive into the topic today. And Alex, if you want to move to the next slide, just want to give the PreSales Collective a shout out. We're going to launch a poll right now as well. So just take a quick second to fill out that poll. And then we're going to end up getting deep into the conversation. Again, folks, feel free to click on the Q&A button at the bottom and submit your question. The other cool thing about that is we actually take the conversation and then move it over to the PreSales Collective Slack community. So if you haven't signed up for that, do check it out, which I think probably most folks are probably part of that community here in this webinar. Alex, if you want to move to the next slide. All right. Well, I'm going to kick it off with our first question. So Tom, this is for you. So are companies, based on what you're seeing, opening up more and more pre-sales roles? And is the talent pool growing alongside?
So I've been here 3 years, and we essentially had 3 sales engineers. We now have about 40 people, and I have solutions consultants, solutions engineers, solutions architects, RFP desk team. I also have solution architects that do demo build, and I have solution architects that go out and help sort of implement Lighthouse products. And, we're going to kind of talk about this, but I will say when I'm looking for solution architects, I do put pre-sales in front of it because it's important that they know they're going to sales. Again, my team has a sort of a foot in the post-sales world as well. So yeah, our team has grown quite a bit. We have a variety of roles. And again, my solutions consultants can talk about the application. My solutions engineers can go in and help sort of build the product as well. And yes, and we hire from a variety of sources as well to help support that growth.
Now, are you seeing that pool sort of expanding, like there's just essentially more and more pre-sales titles to be recruited?
Again, in 3 years, I've gone from 1 role to 8. And it also helps trying to recruit so people, kind of know what they're signing up for and what they're getting into. I think people look at their titles sometimes more than the actual job description.
Awesome. Luis, if you think about the key traits of this individual or individuals, what are some of the key traits that you look for in a potential pre-sales candidate, like business acumen, maybe communication skills, et cetera?
Okay, that's a great question. I always like to answer on pieces of 3, but I'll say 4 things in this case. First, really the one that I'm myself and the rest of the leadership team, and my recommendation to all of you is emotional intelligence. And I know emotional intelligence can be full hours speaking about it, but let me tell you my view about it. So really understand what is going on the opportunity, in the proof of concept, in the engagement that we are having with the customer, with other stakeholders like partners, like the salespeople, the customer. So reading what is going on and deciding what is the best thing to do in that specific moment. Second, we are at Celonis, as many of you know, we sell by value. So what we are trying to do is really fix the processes of everyone across the globe. So business acumen is really key, important. Understand what is that specific use case, what that specific business process that we want to help our customers with. Of course, technology know-how is key. It's a pre-sales role. So be capable of really understanding what is the architecture of the customer, how our solution would fit is also of key importance. And last but not least, something that I always try really to check. I have an experience of half of my career was at Oracle, a lot of years, and now I'm in a startup, a huge startup, but still a startup like Celonis. So adaptation to culture. It's different working at Tom company, at Stephanie, at Celonis, at other companies. So guarantee that this person will adapt well and will be happy at the company that you are in. So these are the 4 traits that I'll be looking for, Georgia.
Love it. Thank you so much. Stephanie, how about yourself? What are the key traits you look for?
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some overlap with what Luis had just mentioned there. The things that I look at, curiosity, of course. I mean, a lot of this, when you're coming in here and you're working with your customers, the need for wanting to understand and wanting to, get to the heart of like what is actually happening, and the want to actually, and the desire to figure out, what is the solution for the customer. So you have to have that curiosity that's really going to drive that. One of the things that I'm seeing a lot more of right now that I'm trying to just make sure, and I think that this is where this sort of dovetails into that emotional intelligence, is around the interpersonal skills. That ability to work with not only your team, but also your internal stakeholders, your business partners across the organization. That is huge. when it comes to becoming successful at the role. And then just that ability to continue to easily build rapport with the customer. So those skills are, I think, key and critical to me. One of the other ones that I just really want to touch on really quickly is confidence. We need to be able to project confidence. When we are selling a solution and we're talking about the business value that we're driving, if you're hemming and hawing about, the conversation that you're having, it detracts from the conversation about being a trusted advisor in this role.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Tom, back to you. How do you actually find these pre-sales talent folks and with these particular desired traits? Are there any sort of like particular channels or other sources that really work for you?
So I'm lucky that I work for a company that's created an AI-powered recruiting tool. So I do get to use my own tool for that, and I have found people there. But we do a couple things. First off, we do hire internally. We'll talk about that, I think, in another question. We recently started an academy where we're pulling people out of school. And to Stephanie's point, we're looking for people that have confidence. I have an interesting mix of people that I've also found that somebody that has an art quality, like whether they're into music, band, improv, theater, you combine that with technology. So we'll pull people out of school that have some type of arts and technology skill. Or the other thing I'll do is I'll look for somebody that knows the industry really well, and I know that we can teach them how to be a solutions engineer. So if I don't have, demo people applying, I'll look for industry expertise or people that have the confidence, have the ability to have a conversation, that want to learn. And then I will also tell you that I have found 3 awesome candidates through PreSales Collective. I think what you all are doing here is a fabulous channel, and again, just posting jobs on there has actually been great for us.
Awesome. Luis, how about yourself? And just to add to that question, does it vary on the sort of part of the motion that you're hiring for? Just because now you're seeing senior, you're seeing demo engineers, right, that are rolling up under solutions consulting or pre-sales in general.
That's really cool, because in our center of excellence, even today I was having a call with my demo engineer lead that is even under our center of excellence under my leadership. So let me separate in 3 big areas. First, the senior pre-sales that are really the trusted advisors that Stephanie just said. I really like what she said. So these people that are working with the Verizons and Lufthansas and Telefonicas of the world. So in that, we, of course, are looking to competition. We are looking even sometimes to customers. Interesting at Celonis, we are growing so much and hiring also so many new account executives. A lot of time is even the new VP of sales that say, this is the right person to work with me. So we have a lot of that. Second, we're also trying to have a lot of nurturing talent. So that's why we're creating the Center of Excellence. So we are really, and we are 50 almost in Madrid, we'll be almost 20 in Raleigh. So we are trying to have in the low end of the pyramid, let's say that way, diversity, and there are people from unis, people that came from business schools, not only from technology. I love Tom mentioning arts as a great background. I totally agree with him. So that's what we are trying to do in the Center of Excellence, and having people that are going up in the pyramid. After 1 year, after 18 months, they go to the field. Specifically to roles like demo, let me tell you what we have in my Center of Excellence. We have 5 big squads. We have Demo Excellence, RFX. So it's a squad that is dedicated to learn how to answer RFPs, RFQs, RFIs, and influence them, and they have higher probability to win. That's the second squad. A third one is value engineering, where we try to help the global go-to-market team to really better build business cases. The fourth one, we call it the Tiger Team, a bunch of technology, really technology people that knows how to answer those difficult questions. And last but not least, onboarding and skill up. What we try to do in these roles, specific ones, and I think we have even a question about the name of the roles at the end of the session, I hope, is that we really try to have people that have that background, sometimes even in customers. So really that build some of this expertise specific that can leverage and make the team go quicker.
Hey, George.
Yeah.
Jeff Ziegler asked a great question and a great point about hiring from customers. And I've done that at my last job and this job. And I will tell you, some of the best talent I've had have come from customers, because there's nothing more powerful than somebody saying, hey, I've implemented this product, I've used this product, these are the results I've seen. The issue with that is a lot of times you're taking your best reference out. So, you know, I've got somebody who wants to join my team and we're in an active deal. You can't take somebody when there's an active deal. It's got to be closed. And I usually say, you've got to sort of work the product for a year and then come talk to me. So, and then, you know, you also have to check with your legal teams, because a lot of times in the sales contract, there'll be a, we can't hire from you and you can't hire from us. So you need to be careful there, because a lot of people get excited by technology, get excited by what you've done in front of them. So just follow the rules, be careful, you know, make sure you're talking to legal, HR, but I will tell you, I've hired fabulous SEs from my customers.
Well, Tom, you know, that's actually a good segue into the next topic, which is, should we really go back to pre-sales as a career, meaning the job title? You know, we have solutions engineers, sales consultants. I mean, you know, there's a ton of them, right? Sales architects, et cetera. Why do we need something new?
Well, and again, I've been doing this a very long time. I started as pre-sales. It's funny, it's the salespeople that don't want sales in their title. Like, they wanted us, so initially we were solutions, we were sales engineers. They're like, no, you need to drop that, make it solutions engineers. But then there was a conversation about, do you really need to be an engineer to sell an HR system? No, so let's go to solutions consultants. So there's this stigma with having sales in the title, even though that's what we're doing. So that's why, again, I have pre-sales solution architects, so that they know they're going to be part of the sales team. And then, you know, I have solutions consultants, because, you know, we are trying to learn a company's business. We are a consultant. We are there trying to help them. It's really the salesperson that's trying to sell them. So I kind of agree with taking sales out of our roles, because we are supposed to be a trusted advisor. I think, again, you'll see a lot of times in my job descriptions, I will put pre-sales in front of it, or one of the very first words in the job descriptions will be pre-sales. So people understand that it is a sales role. There is the pressure of sales attached. And I also tell my team, I don't care what your LinkedIn profile says. Your title doesn't, and LinkedIn doesn't have to match your title in HR. Whatever the title is that you want, that makes you feel, to Stephanie's point, confident in front of a customer. So if you want to be a solutions consultant, you want to be a solutions engineer, whatever makes you give you that more of that confidence, then great. So, I mean, that's sort of my view on it.
Awesome. Luis, what's your take on this?
Okay, so I echo some of Tom's opinion, but I really like to have the sales in the name of pre-sales. We are named solution engineers, but for example, let me tell you some facts. So when we put the same job posts, but changing a little bit the title, and we noticed something interesting. When we put the pre-sales name on it, people are already better understanding what they are applying for, okay? So I agree with Trust Advisor, I agree with everything that Tom said, but at the end of the day, our job is to make a customer happy by acquiring our technology. That's really what we should do. And then, of course, also support the customer that is really happy delivering the project. So in a nutshell, I really believe that the names are creating some noise. Even I was talking with Stephanie before we started, that the other day I got these calls that you are a solution engineering VP, so you are in the engineering post and you should look into that. So I really believe that at the end of the day, we are part of the sales team. We support sales to be successful. And of course, we help our customers to be successful with our technology.
Yeah, and I think the right sales organization will create a culture of not making salesy or sales a salesy negative sort of word, right? Stephanie, if you think about non-traditional hires, what's your take on that? Especially now we're returning to work. You know, you talked about emotional intelligence earlier. You know, maybe looking at other roles internally, maybe folks who are transitioning. What's kind of your approach on that topic?
I love it because if you looked at my background, I came from industry. And if someone didn't see my potential, then I wouldn't necessarily be here today. So it's one of the things when we talk about attracting and hiring top talent, it is probably one of my bigger sources of where I tend to look for people, because I think that we've, the typical path has been, it's quite saturated. We're also, picking off from one company to go to the next and so forth. So you have to do a refresh, right? We need to start looking at where can we source candidates from other locations that are going to infuse something different and new into our organization so we can continue to be competitive. That's out there. So industry hires, love it. I don't know if you guys see my little construction models behind me. That's exactly where I came from. I was 13 years there. And then, at one point in time, I ended up working with a DocuSign team, just as you said, and it's kind of poached from the customer aspect there. But it's been a success. So you can see here, it's like 8 years plus into DocuSign. And I hopefully have infused something new into the organization, a different mindset, different mind frame, and so forth. The other area that I'm looking at, one is just attracting people to the role itself, and they might not necessarily have any experience. So one of the things that, I'm proud of that we just launched this past summer was an SE internship program. So we're actually trying to attract talent before they even start getting out into that workplace, into the workforce. And that has been truly successful. I would love to talk more and more on that topic, but just so you know, hired individuals from that program, looking for them to start, and we'll love that. The other area that I really love to pull from are those career changers, right? And I find a lot of that talent by going out and just networking. It's the being out there. It's all, I'm sure all of us attend a multitude of conferences and so forth. There is just an amazing pool of talent that if we look towards potential, not necessarily experience, that's where we're going to be able to find and attract a lot of talent.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Let me jump in here, if I may, really 30 seconds. So I want to echo Stephanie on internships. I'm even on the name of one person that started an internship and now is a full-time employee at Solaris, Andres Portugal. So really, internships is one of our most important sources. We really treat them as part of our team. I always say 3 things to everyone that starts an internship in my team. It's first, you are here not to take coffees. You are part of the team for the good or the bad. This sentence. Second, if everything goes well, you learn a lot with us in the next 6 months on this paid internship that we have in US and in Europe. So you will start a career with us. And our objective is, if you are a talent that we expect, or you stay in my team, or we'll get a role for you, or in product management, or even in partners. One of the interns that now are finishing internship with me is going to start working in a partner that works in our technology. So I echo Stephanie on internships, really spot on. Thank you.
Can I just add one more thing? One of my coworkers, Kevin Cook, he actually about 4 years ago implemented an SE mentorship program internal in our organization. And what that allowed is no one has to leave their day job. They don't have to formally apply for an SE role. But if they're trying to understand, like, what is the value of our role? What is it that we do? What does the day-to-day look like? We have a formal program. They sign up for it. And so these are people that are coming from post sales. I mean, if we did the poll, right? I think I saw the LinkedIn poll up there recently around, how did you get into solution engineering? Because half the time nobody knows, that this is that greatest job in the world that no one knows about. They come from, right, sales, the XDR org, they come from post sales, customer success and so forth. So we implemented that mentorship program. It allows for people to dip their toe into it. It is formal. There are steps that they go through to get to a point of presentation, to understanding the technology, to shadowing various calls, to having a mentor that they're working with to go through that. And so it allows them to get a feel for, is this the path that I want to go down instead of the one that I'm already on?
Thank you for that, Stephanie.
Mhm.
Tom, you've been doing this for quite a long time and probably have a bunch of perspectives on this topic, like traditional or non-traditional hires.
Variety of hires. I think it's great to have a mix of backgrounds. So yes, we're doing the academies, we're doing the interns. I've hired from customers. We also have the mentor program. I've had people join from our customer success org. I've also had people join from the SDR org. I think an SDR, a logical path is either an AE or an SE. We actually also just had a booth at HR Tech, large conference. We all had buttons on that said we're hiring, and we actually had a recruiter on staff right there. First time we did that, we actually got quite a few resumes out of it. But I think we do exactly what Stephanie does. We have the mentor program. We do sort of a 90-10 or an 80-20 program where 10-20% of the time you join our team, you see what it's like, and you try it for a while. And because it's not for everybody. Not everybody likes to be in front of customers. Not everybody likes this, sales. There are a lot of post-sales people that really like being in and finishing a project. So it gives them a chance to try it. I've also told everybody in my company that everybody is really in sales. Everybody should learn how to demo. So we'll do demo training for the entire company. And then that will actually sometimes spark people to say, I think this is cool. I want to join the team. But there is no single place to hire. It's really somebody that's watched a demo, gets excited by it, says, I want to join. And then they either need a mix of tech skills, personality, or industry experience, and we'll work with that.
Thank you for that. Luis, let's talk a little bit about the sort of process that you follow for informing folks what pre-sales is all about, and if it's a good fit for them. Perhaps, there are a couple folks internally that you're like, you know what, they might fit, or maybe in the intern program. Anything that comes to mind?
Okay, so in the intern program, I think more or less what Tom and Stephanie just said, we do the same. We try to nurture talent and move around talent. We are still a startup, so moving people from organization A to organization B really works well. Even more in the hubs, like in Madrid and in Raleigh or in Munich or New York, where we have the biggest offices with hundreds of people, that works quite well. To form externally, what we are really doing is, we are going to a lot of unis, so important universities in New York, in San Francisco, in Europe, to guarantee that everyone understands what we are looking for. So we will do workshops on this specific topic. Second, a lot of blog posts are really being successful, especially from people that just joined and want to share their experience. For example, one of the things, and probably I'd like to have Tom and Stephanie's opinion, that we are really pushing for diversity, but we are not at the 50-50 split on ladies pre-sales, and really something that we are trying for. So we even created some activities that our lady pre-sales are really working and speaking with other people, women in tech across the rest of the globe. This is also something that we're trying to be successful. But what is more important is that every time that there is a person that wants to hire, myself, another VP or a director jumps in soon to guarantee that they can ask anything to what can be their future leader. So really for them to understand what the role could be about. So I think those are the three things that we are trying to do in those regards.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And Stephanie, how about yourself? How are you informing folks what pre-sales is all about, and they're a good fit?
A lot of times I just like to tell my story. I like to talk about, where I came from, what I've done, and how that translates into this role. There's no one size fits all for this, as an answer to this, because sometimes it just might be like, based on that person's personality, I know that I would love to, introduce them to one of my SEs. And I think doing the day in the life and having them, have a conversation, that also helps. And then in addition to these two programs, running an SE internship program as well as a mentorship program, I think that those two things kind of help to really solidify whether or not, this is a change that's appropriate for certain individuals. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Stephanie. As we go into the next topic around hiring process, any specific advice you would give folks out there around, number of interviews, panel interviews, presentations, overall timeline, anything that's particularly worked for you?
My big smile is probably because recruiting might not necessarily like me in my recruiting process. The expediency, of course, is one of the things, right, that helps to really drive, the process, not, for the candidate specifically, right? However, there are some times where I'm just a little bit, so one of the things that I do is I just identify what are my gaps in my organization, right? What do I really need on the team? And, there's going to be certain maybe extra qualities that I might start looking for. Did this person, if I am hiring someone that has, background in SE experience, but do they have some experience in a certain industry area that really I need to shore up? So sometimes my, recruiting process can be a little slower. Usually I start looking for a full slate of candidates because I really want to evaluate people on par, not, piecemeal approach of, hey, I just happen to have one or two candidates come through. But, I know that, expediency is probably one of the things that really helps. But the other typical process, I want to make sure this is a two-way street. It's a decision. It's a heavy decision for both people, the company itself, as well as the candidate. This is a change that they're making for themselves, their family, and so forth. So I try to bring as much information as I possibly can to an extended interview. I then, extend, conversations out to to maybe some of the team members that they would be working with. And then, of course, I want to see a presentation, whether it's, on our product or theirs. I want to be able to see what are their presentation skills and what are some of the things. I don't have to have it all, but what are some of the things that I know that might be things that they're going to have to work on when they do come into the organization. So that's how I kind of view it.
Tom, how about yourself? What's your process look like, or anything that has really worked for you?
Our process is growing, and I will just say it has to go fast. I can't tell you how many candidates we've lost, between like the 3 and 4 week period, because we do have, we have a process where you have to have at least 5 sets of feedback. So sometimes now we'll do panel interviews so we can get more feedback at once. I also, I don't want to sell a candidate. I want the candidate to be excited to be here. So we'll send them an NDA. We will give them a demo. And I'll say, if the product that we're showing you doesn't excite you, you don't relate it, then this is not a good fit for you. Sometimes that's hard. If it's a competitor, then we may skip that process. If it's a referral, if it's somebody I know, then I don't need to see them present. Although again, our recruiting is saying, hey, if you do a step for one person, you have to do it for all. So we're now probably going to make everybody do a presentation, and they'll demo their current software to us. Again, if it's a competitor, I've had people demo Shopify, bank software, cell phone apps. I just want to see how they present. And again, we'll try to do the whole process now, within about under 3 weeks. But I do want them to see the product, and I want them to tell me that they're excited to join and why. Because again, to Stephanie's point, this is a big step. I never want to have to talk somebody into a role. I want them to be excited about the change in the career. So a lot of communication. I will also offer them to talk to anybody on my team. And this also helps with diversity hiring. A lot of times women will speak to another women or bring a panel, or a lot of people say, I want to speak to your newest people on your team and see what the onboarding process was like. So we're very open. They can speak to anybody across the team. They can speak to any executive if they want to, but you've got to move fast. It's hard. Sometimes we have a recruiter out right now. So it's things are falling through the cracks. And like I said, we've lost people because it's a hot market and somebody got an offer, and that offer expires in 24 hours. So they take it. So yeah, but again, I do think you need, multiple interviews, see them present, have them watch your product. And again, if somebody actually says, I don't want to see your product, that's a red flag to me. Because how could you join a company where you didn't see, when you don't even know what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, totally get it. Speaking of onboarding, after you hire, any best practices around onboarding and ramping new hires? Maybe particularly, these folks who are non-traditional.
So we assign everybody an SC mentor, and Kristen Jackson asked a question about how do you keep people engaged on your team. Some people feel like they want to be a manager. Some people know they don't, but everybody usually genuinely likes to mentor. And so sometimes you can scratch that management itch just by being a team lead or a mentor. So everybody gets a mentor, everybody gets a buddy. We do use a product called MindTickle for our sales enablement. There's a lot of training through that. And then we do a series of demo roundtables. So you'll demo to the SE team, you'll demo to all the new AEs, you'll demo to marketing. It's all about multiple at-bats. And shameless plug, we've created the PreSales collective demo roundtable where once a month, and if it takes off, we'll do it more. We'll have people, new SEs, either enroll or new at company, demo to each other. We'll make sure it's non-competitive because after a while, you need to demo to somebody outside the company. If somebody outside the company doesn't understand your message, then neither is a customer. And there's nothing like getting feedback from peers and not just people you work with. So that's been the biggest thing that I've done, is giving people multiple cracks to demo to a variety of people and get feedback. And we've got a very good process for feedback, how you give feedback. And it's great. I will also tell you, there was nothing like taking 6 brand new SEs to HR Tech and putting them at a booth and having them give that intro demo over and over and over. You don't always have that option, but trade shows are a phenomenal place to get the confidence. So, we're always revamping the process. We're always adding more into it. You can't do everything through, sales enablement tools. People can only watch so much videos. They really need the chance to present. It's also been a great way for us to sort of cross-train new people in marketing and cross-train new AEs, having them sit on these demo roundtables. And then the best thing of all is now they're building relationships. The new AEs feel like they've gone to a boot camp with the new SEs. There's a good chance that they're going to have a partnership going forward. But I'm open to all ideas because I think we all go through this, and again, some people are ready to hit the ground in, 1 to 2 months, some people 3 to 4 months, but you never want somebody to have a bad first demo because then that ruins their confidence. So we'll also, we're a platform. So you'll demo a piece of the platform and you'll always have somebody riding shotgun to back you up because you never know the questions you're going to get. That's also the hard thing. We do objection handling training as well, where we sit there and just have roundtables on asking questions to people and having them answer questions. The demo part, the click path is easy. We can all remember that. It's getting the questions from left field. Those are the ones that can really mess up your confidence. So that was a long answer, but I think this is probably one of the biggest topics for everybody is how do you train people? We're always improving. And I think the other thing is we're always trying to improve and reinvent the process.
Awesome. Luis, why don't we round this out, the set of questions with you. And then for everyone out there in the audience, thank you so much. The engagement's been fantastic. We have about 7 questions in the Q&A. So this is your last chance to just submit those so we can make sure we get to those here during our Q&A session. So Luis, why don't you take us round?
Okay, so I assume it's also, so I want to build on top on Tom. I'm loving the sound of my voice. I know I'll try to really don't repeat what Tom said because I agree with him 100%. So things that we do that are really successful. We have the first month that we call Luna de Miel. I know, Roger, that you understand Spanish. So honeymoon. So really, what is really the onboarding, what they should know, but small tricks that make, in my opinion, our SE successful. So we have every week demo sessions. We have the demo to peers, totally safe environment. No one records it, and they're demoing to each other and learning what and how to do it. Really works pretty well. We also have weekly sessions called Where is the Value, when we do more detailed engagement with customers. So they share the business case. So peers again give their opinion. You should go this way. I already did that in the past. So what we are trying to do, and I really want to echo what Tom said, It's not about we can put them 100 hours of video in front of them, how to do this better. It's not about the click past. People that really execute well the demos or the engagements with customers is that they don't know the script. They're ready to things that are off scripted. And that's what we try to do in our 6 months onboarding period. But again, we try people to be after 3 months taking ownership of engagements with customers.
Awesome. Well, folks, thank you so much for sticking around this long. We have about 15-ish minutes or so. So we're gonna get to your questions now. And we'll start off with Jeff Ziegler. Hope I'm pronouncing that right, Jeff. And Jeff asks, is there a standard definition for pre-sales? I know we've spoken to this sort of in different ways here, but maybe we'll give Jeff a clear answer here. Stephanie, anything that comes to mind?
When I think about this, I think about our like a little Venn diagram of, here are some things that are clearly in our lane. And then here are these overlapped areas where we tend to jump in just because we happen to be in right place, right time, make sense sort of moments. So I personally, I just like to think that pre-sales is like a jack of all trades at this point in time.
Awesome. Jack of all trades. Luis, anything there?
Okay, so I'm glad Stephanie took the first, because that's the question that all of us have an opinion, but that's not an easy answer. So let me tell you what I say to people when they ask me what is pre-sales. So he's a person that goes into a customer door and clicks on the 12th floor button to speak with the CEO, why this will change your business, Mr. CEO or Mr. C-level, or go to -2 and goes to the data center and explains, hey, this is how it will be installed in your public cloud, wherever it is. So it's really, don't want to use the jack of all trades, but it's someone that can in the morning explain how this impact the business, and in the afternoon being really putting that up and running. So this is really someone that can be doing those things every day, every hour successfully.
Awesome. And Tom, how about yourself?
So I asked people, what do they think the biggest responsibility of this role is? And to me, the answer I'm looking for is it's to make your AE successful. So you're the trusted advisor of the customer, but you're the trusted partner of the AE. And I'll say, find out what the AE is good at and try and backfill all the rest. So that's where the jack of all trades comes in. But at the end of the day, you're a key player in helping to win deals. And I'm sure everybody here would agree that SCs are, one of the key ingredients to deal success. I'm sure everybody's worked a deal where they felt like they did everything and the AE didn't. But at the end of the day, that's your job, is to make the AE successful.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks.
I like his answer better.
They're all great answers.
Feel free
all
to
great answers.
Interviews.
So next question is from Packy Markham. Packy asks, and I apologize, Packy, if I'm mispronouncing, we are looking for a nice mix of strong personalities who can be part of the sales process and have a background in app development or app dev. Is anyone else seeing this or hiring for these folks? I know we talked a lot about attributes. Stephanie, maybe you want to take this one?
I definitely the understanding of a mix of personalities, but a requirement in app development is not something that I'm necessarily seeing within our product line. So no, not from us.
Gotcha. Luis or Tom, any takes on this?
I echo Stephanie.
I'll look for app development, but again, I need I need someone that can connect and present in front. So that's where I'll go back to the success of somebody who also has a history of theater, improv, art, music, performing of some kind. Or even like I just hired a podcaster who I found through PreSales Collective, and she's phenomenal. She has that perfect podcasting voice and microphone set up. And now I want my whole team to have that set up.
Awesome. I love that you just said that. Obviously, I'm biased.
I must admit, like when I pull the team across our SE org, I cannot believe how many play an instrument and or are, you know, musical in some way or another. It's just phenomenal, the depth of the entertainment, you know, aspect there.
Awesome. So next question is from Bonnie Alexander. What type of training do you offer your new pre-sales hires that are coming in with none to limited pre-sales experience? So I know we spoke to this a little bit in onboarding and in training, but Luis, any specific things that you want to sort of accentuate?
So as I said, we have really this clear program for the first 30 days, 60, 90, 180. So we try really not to do PowerPoint or video to death to our new joiners because it's really can be really painful. So we try more hands-on as experience as we can. Saying that, business know-how, so business acumen. So Celoni is really sells a lot to the financial world about some processes like accounts payable, accounts receivable, order to cash, order management. I'll not bother you with that. So we really try that our new joiner SCs understand the business pains. How Tom was saying a couple of minutes ago, why the AE will be successful is because we will be good explaining to the customer, this is the pain, this is the challenge, this is something that you don't know, but you have, and this is how we will fix. So on top of no video to that, not PowerPoint to that, a lot of hands-on, we try our new joiner SCs to understand what are the business needs of our customers that we are fixing.
So
Awesome.
one thing done, just if for somebody who's brand new, we'll also do, I'll assign an AE mentor, someone to sort of walk them through sales 101. We'll also do industry classes, marketing classes for the academy, which we should, I think we're going to end up doing a session on this. How do you do expenses? How do you, I mean, so we'll take it all the way down, but I do think having an AE mentor on top of the SE mentor is great for those people new to the sales part of the process. And then again, it builds a relationship. That AE gets comfortable with them and we'll start pulling them into deals.
Stephanie, anything you want to add?
No, I'd co-sign, but with what both of them said, it's, you know, coming in and it's just hands-on in your environment, being able to have a team around you, and that's one of the things that we fostered from the beginning. So again, I started here when, you know, there was only about 600 employees here, and now we're over 7,000, I believe. So the team environment that has been fostered, we've created various, you know, we leverage Slack, so we've created various channels that are specifically for people who are a little newer, who are a little, you know, not quite ready to throw their, you know, what they say, the stupid question out there to the general, you know, team and so forth. But they're not stupid questions. They are questions that are, there is a whole host of us that are ready to answer them. So I think we've done a great job at creating an environment that becomes welcoming to people who don't have that direct experience. And so once they feel the comfort of the team that they're walking into, they gain a lot more of that confidence in what they already know, and then they start bringing that themselves to the table as well.
Awesome. Thanks for that. You know, we've spoken to this. Daniel Murphy has a question around when you're finding candidates that maybe have technical skills versus pre-sales experience. They're finding it difficult to find candidates these days that have both. And I know we spoke about criteria here, but maybe if anyone has any advice for Daniel around when you have situations where you have just someone who's got pre-sales experience, but what I'm understanding from, I should say, Damien's question. So has pre-sales experience, but maybe doesn't have as much technical skills, or has technical skills, not as much pre-sales skills. Any quick, just rapid fire here, anything that you have to give Damien?
If they have technical skills, have them present, give them coaching, and see how well they take the coaching. If they don't take it, then they're not going to be able to grow. If they actively take it and put it into use, that's a great sign.
Awesome.
I agree with Tom. Just let me add something. We even on our hiring process, sometimes we do like a dry run on the demo that they can do. And we even give coaching and ideas to these talents that are really technical, but that don't know so much about pre-sales. And then we compare, did they listen to our coaching in the last demo for being onboarded, for example? So,
Coachability.
100%.
On the inverse, the technical shortfalls for people who, have that confidence in talking to individuals and has some more of that business acumen, giving them a guide and following along. Can you actually follow these instructions to, get to your build? That's a great way of, trying to assess someone's capability of, acquiring or picking up some of those technical shortfalls as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Woody Evans has a question. This is a pretty interesting one. How do you navigate the perilous waters around hiring a leader versus an individual contributor, knowing how to sell isn't the same skill set as being a great leader? I think we've certainly learned that on the sales side in my career. And, I guess all roles, but, any sort of advice around that? And just to add one more piece, Woody's asking about acquiring someone with the hero complex can even set you back. Just a little point there. Anything that comes up?
I try to promote from within. So I want people to be an IC first. That being said, it's hard, as we grow and if we double, we will need to hire some managers, but I want someone to come in and learn the product, be successful as a deal, and then they can become a manager. And, and that's worked fine. I've had people say, okay, as long as I know there's a path, then I'm okay. But if somebody comes in and says, I need to be this level right now, if you really don't have anybody that can do the job from internal, I think it's demotivating to your team when you bring somebody over them as well. So that's what we try to do. We're a smaller company. It's probably easy for us to do that, but that's my advice.
Gotcha.
And a little bit more of a challenge on our side as we continue to scale the organization. And again, this kind of goes back to something that I had mentioned earlier, identifying gaps in our business and determining what those needs actually are. And so sometimes maybe the internal candidate is not the right candidate for the role. And so I kind of need to shore up certain experience within a team. And so I start to look at, some of that external hiring in there. Sometimes it's just a tough conversation that just needs to be had. Right? There's certain, qualities or certain skill set is just not that you're not actually seeing. And these are direct conversations that need to be had with a path towards the success. So it's here are these things that I'm seeing as a gap, and here are the things that I need for you to work on in order for me to believe that, this is the next role for you. I find that we are often getting into a point where people believe that it's just the next logical step in the career. And I'm like, it's not. And so we actually had a meeting on this not too long ago where we actually had a panel of individuals that were, new to the organization, wanted to go the leadership path, went the leadership path, and then came back out of it because they realized it was not for them. And then that individual is just like, no, don't even want to take that on. So.
Awesome. Luis, you want to wrap us up?
Yes, so totally. First of all, it's good to have a career that lets talents grow as ICs. So master principles, distinguished SCs, distinguished pre-sales, this is key. People that can really reach VP levels as an IC. So they write blogs, they are matter experts in some areas, and we treat them as them. And we should have those careers. Second, I have a lot of young talents that when they tell me, hey, I want to be a manager, yellow light or even red light, leadership first, really take care of a couple of SCs as their mentor, as whatever it is, and then you are able to take a leadership role, not a manager role. And important, what I'm seeing is that really promoting from inside is key, but for some key roles, we still are, like Stephanie, hiring from outside, and that helps a lot young talents that we have in our organization to grow. So we need leaders that help the current talent, the young talent that we have to go to the next level and become future leaders. So the time that we promote the internal talent is also important in that remark.
Awesome.
I know that
Unfortunately,
I know that we're running up against time, but
Yeah.
just because I want to wrap this with from the how to attract and hire. And this is for those hiring leaders out there. One of the things that I would want to say is if you are going to source from LinkedIn, I cannot stress how much the information coming from the hiring manager rather than the recruiter is the way to go. I put a little bit of my personality into a search. I went and found, candidates that had experience, that didn't have experience. And I think I got a 95% response rate on just me being the hiring manager, reaching out to these individuals. So if there is any one thing that I want to leave everyone with, it's do that.
Awesome. Thank you so much to our amazing panelists here today. Alex, let's pull up the outro slides here. And also we have a poll that you'll see surface here on the screen. And shout out to the, of course, wonderful PreSales Collective. Shout out to all our sponsors, or I should say their sponsors, of which we are one of at the PreSales Collective. So we're very, very blessed and excited about our partnership and continue to invest in it. So thank you so much. Again, that poll is on the screen right now. You should see it somewhere. So go ahead and let us know how we did. We're always looking to improve our webinars and how we speak to this topic. Also, next slide, Alex. And of course, we do have some upcoming events for the PreSales Collective. So definitely do check this out on, I think it's presalescollective.com. So, we're always happy to talk shop and continue to teach. And then last but not least, we're going to take the questions, the remaining questions, and bring it on over to the PreSales Collective Slack so we can continue the conversation there, because of course these are super hot topics and we want to be able to be as helpful as possible. And Stephanie, Tom, Luis, thank you so much for your time. If you do want to just maybe add your LinkedIn URL, or Alex, maybe you can help out, add the LinkedIn URL in the chat for these amazing leaders, that would be amazing. So folks could connect with you. I know it sounds like everyone's hiring, so do connect with these folks. And if you're interested in becoming an IC out there, do let us know, and we can connect you if you can't get in contact with the folks you want to get in contact with. But of course, LinkedIn is an amazing place for everyone. Without further ado, Stephanie, Tom, Luis, have a great day. Luis, I'm going to try to get to Madrid soon, so maybe I can buy you un cafecito and some churros.
Good
over
coffee.
there.
Good coffee. Let's do that.
Absolutely.
A good cerveza, even better.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Unas tapas. One of the things I love about Madrid the most is that you go in, you get a beer, and you get a bunch of tapas, right?
Exactly.
So anyways, everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful day, and hope to see you on the next PreSales Collective event or webinar, and listen to the podcast, of course, as well. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.